with the second best. Oskoro Tandimana memi not I'm the second best. Second chance. Oflo yini keken day. Shija tuma kom kimi tashi ngengenche. Meme amusama nandine best go chama no ke you.
International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUL for life. We are IUL.
Good evening, I'm Maggie for Seattle. In the news tonight, Botswana's 72-hour negative PCR policy troubles Namibian truckers. Arasa calls for more investment in GBV social determinants. Brothers suffer from mental disorder after visiting a church in South Africa. Poultry farmers excited to attend bird auction event. And round up Business on One, comments corner, sports and the weather. Botswana's 72-hour negative polymerase chain reaction test for all travelers visiting is troubling Namibian truck drivers. They say the idea of COVID-19 vaccines becoming mandatory at borders is worrisome due to them not having sufficient knowledge on the various brands and their side effects.
Botswana is enhancing protection at all ports of entry by enforcing a 72-hour negative PCR policy. All passengers in transit must have a negative PCR test certificate or a valid COVID-19 negative test certificate obtained not more than 72 hours before the date of travel from an accredited laboratory. Namibian truck drivers are especially upset over this.
I don't know. We are not supposed to be forced, because as truck drivers, every week we are getting tested twice. As far as I'm concerned, I think it's more than even enough. Unlike those who are in the community, because they are not getting tested. So as we are getting tested, I think that is more than enough.
We don't know in this vaccine what they're going to cost for us later.
As we are only transiting, we are just passing through. We are not that always they are delivering their things in Botswana. No, we are just only used as a transit to South Africa. So how can they can just force us, a truck driver from Namibia, that we must have that vaccination to enter in Botswana?
The truckers sought the counsel of their union leader, Peterson Kambinda, who wasn't impressed by the news.
They are crying about the economy, how the vaccine have affected the economy. But then some of the decisions our neighboring countries are making, they might even be able to take this economy which they are crying for. It can even be able to get worse. How can it be able to get worse? It's because if Botswana take a decision without considering how is Namibia going to react toward the decision which they have made, that at the end of the day it's going to be able to affect the economy.
Naretu and its members are currently identifying a strategic way to address this matter. Kambinda says one of the approaches would, for example, be to boycott all trucks delivering goods to Botswana.
What more if we are going to be able to take a decision to say that, okay, Botswana, you must know that Botswana also relies on, for their economy to go forward, they rely also on other African countries and the world at large for their economy to go forward. But if Namibia decides that anything Botswana wants, unless they can collect it themselves, how it is going to be able to be with their economy? Will they be able to keep up to that pace to say that they need to sustain themselves because they have closed the borders?
It is estimated that over 1 million people in Botswana above 18 years reportedly received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, while almost 70% of the country's population are fully vaccinated.
After a hard year, we've got the Christmas you deserve with incredible savings. Like baked beans and tomato sauce, buy 2 for just $22. And all gold tomato sauce, buy 2 for only $50. Plus, every day, we're giving Lucky Spar Rewards customers their shopping for free. Merry Christmas from all of us at Spar.
The AIDS and Rights Alliance for Southern Africa, ARASA, is calling for more investment in the social determinants of gender-based violence, stating that there is not enough effort to address gender inequality, the patriarchal system, and bodily autonomy and integrity. The organization made the remarks in view of 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, which is to end on Human Rights Day.
Director of the AIDS and Rights for Southern Africa, Felicita Hikwam, notes that efforts against gender-based violence should not only be centered around the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, but should be addressed on a daily basis.
Also looking at the impact that sexual and gender-based violence has on the physical, mental and psychological well-being of individuals. Then looking at the impact that it has at the household level, the breakdown of relationships and family ties, the behavioral changes which may result in victims of or survivors of gender-based violence becoming perpetrators of violence themselves. But then it also looks at the systemic impact that gender-based violence has, that you may not be personally affected, but it affects the system within which you operate. It affects our economy by reducing productivity. It also impacts on our healthcare system and our criminal justice system, which are already overburdened, which are already stretched. And so it does in some way impact on us all. The reason why we've chose the impact that gender-based violence has on the society and on all of us is really because we took it as a means to break down stigma rather than focusing on the individual that's affected and placing the burden and the spotlight on the individual, really looking at the system so as to break down stigma, to free people up from being able to talk about the impact that it has had on their lives as well, but also to influence policymakers to make the changes that are required in the system to be able to effectively address sexual and gender-based violence.
Hikwam further notes that aligned with the 30th anniversary of the UN, ARASA observed 30 ways in which gender-based violence impacts society, such as limitations of rights to bodily autonomy and integrity.
We have to deal with the fact that as a society, we don't respect people's bodily autonomy and integrity as a culture, in the sense that, for example, women's bodies are communal property. Everybody wants to know when a woman has gone into puberty. Everybody has a say when a woman gets married about when she's going to have children, how many children is she going to have, who is she having children with. And so there is this perpetual ownership, a communal ownership of people's bodies that I think we need to address. No wonder, women and children become punching bags when they don't belong to themselves. Their bodies don't belong to themselves. It is communally owned. And so there are some very systemic issues that we have to deal with. Another issue is also the fact that we don't invest enough in enforcing particularly protective measures and legislation that do exist. We don't invest enough in ensuring that people know their rights, that people know where to access justice, that they know where to go and where to seek redress, and that they're protected should they, speak up.
ARASA is running a video competition on the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, where participants are required to post a 2-minute video on the ways in which gender-based violence impacts us all, and tag the ARASA social media pages with the hashtags Everybody Counts, Stand for BAI, and ARASA 16 Days. The competition runs until the 25th of November 2021, and winners will be announced on the 12th of December 2021.
A family in Windhoek recently approached the law enforcement to complain about the practice of a religious organization that they believe led to 2 brothers now facing mental disorder. The brothers allegedly travelled to neighbouring South Africa to join a church and returned acting differently.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
A family in Windhoek is desperate to find answers as to why their 2 brothers are now constantly in and out of the psychiatric hospital after allegedly visiting a Mormon temple in South Africa. According to them, the 2 men were given garments to wear and were warned not to remove them. When the church's local branch representatives were called in by Nampol for questioning, they brought a message from the church that if Nampol had questions to ask, then they should send them to the church in South Africa.
And this church, as I said, is a big organization. I spoke to the big leader in Namibia before I came here. Genge Bamotena, Eshonu, or Omieleka, Manulo, Oleta, the equal area of 70. The area of 70 is that of the time she started. Yes, such a congregation, a representative of Natambo, South Africa, no America. Then we never met up in the family, my family, which are the family of the Tap on Allen Tasha, Natambo de family. One and the person, and the turning back was that Natan water, and became a home college. Yeah, good number on it, or one back. People go the city we get opportunity kucha unu kala nge janga te kunjimbo fakucha ngembo ahombola ejiri ge kucha eshiwa hombola ndo nande kuye pina no biri itoimo molu haya do nge hombola na tangu iputwe cheke afa ko shukutweshi Kabe nanda wishi na kuja. Amu ndani ko kabe nanda kamu. Onjina iko mtu kajumu. Ko etitiri ko kero ko zimbulu ikanga he ko chishiwa shashelo. Ko liku gatele nongenge ulimo mucha katika mwe. Awono wa zimbwa yilo pamwe ajine kuchoshikesha wao. Etitiri ko tadi ko zimbulu ka kuchata ito dulu kufa. Wajina tano kabe nanda kucha. Commandments are doing. Not it all.
You are the only solution to see what you can. How can you assist this person to come to a normal life? It's in a mentally. A calendar in a family. Onyaiki. Nene olinka ya mkoto ya na macho ya patela mungu inawi. Shasho bili la bena nale. Abasho ile kotembe kioko. Ongere kata ipokiwa.
The brothers in the family later reunited and vowed never to return to the church. They also burned the garments that they had received from the church. The community policing department urged church leaders to stop causing division and for them to preach love and unity.
Community Voices proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation. Good today, better tomorrow.
Nog steeds abandonment issues.
Is moontlik?
Ons moeite met die sprokies. Ek probeer so hard om my kind gelukkig te maak, maar ek kry dit nie reg nie.
Probeer net help, dis al.
Jy doen niks sonder bymotiewe nie.
So jy hou van die tattoo?
Nee. Maar jy kan nie liefde koop nie. En beslis nie myne nie.
Jy regular.
Am I that predictable?
Jy is 'n gereelde klant en ons net soveel maniere om koffie te drink.
How do you like your coffee?
Gewoonlik swart sonder suiker.
Does black and bitter only pertain to your coffee preference?
Ek hou maar net van my koffie sonder melk.
Hoe gaan dit op bal raak slaan na 2 glase wyn?
That was part of my plan.
Wat? Om 'n tipsie te maak sodat jy kan wen.
I'm terrible with pad.
Stay true to who you are and stay true to Namibia Sounds. Starting September 4th at 7 p.m., Valentine's and 99 FM bring you the True Music Sessions, a back-to-back playlist of our nation's finest artists brought to you by the finest blended Scotch whiskey, Valentine's. Stay true. There's no wrong way.
Poultry farmers recently gathered at the annual bird auction hosted by Nambour auctioneers, where a variety of birds, such as, amongst others, different chicken breeds, turkeys, peacocks and parrots were up for auction.
Wouter Moelman from the Nambour auctioneers highlighted that throughout the past years, a number of people have started to show great interest towards farming in the poultry sector. Moelman further stated that there is a good market for birds both from the local people and from customers abroad, such as those from Angola.
What is happening is we've got a lot of those people from Angola. Keep on coming, keep on coming, keep on coming. So the good thing about this is we select the nice ones. If we're not happy with the breed or the quality that you bring, for instance, then we will say type. So it's not the actual name. We will say it's the name, but the type afterwards. So it's not the quality that we want. But if we can keep on breeding the good quality, there's a good market, but both locally, Angola, even from this platform. So I think there's a huge market for apart from the chickens, also ostriches, huge market. Peacocks, very good market.
Muluna Moses Natangwe, a farmer who flew all the way from Oshikoto region, stated that he came to buy chickens as the auction always offers a variety of quality breeds.
A lot of varieties of chicken here, whereby I need to take them to the Oshikoto side. There at Oshikoto, there is not a lot of breeds. Or let me say, these breeds, they are not available that side. That's the reason I came here. I buy this breed, I go groom them there myself. They produce, then once the number get increased, I start selling some of the breeds there.
Wolf Isco, a bird breeder, encourages starters that starting off with birds is not easy and it has its own risk. According to him, farmers should always rise from their failure as they will experience a lot of fallbacks in the beginning.
The most important thing is to know that it's not easy. With other words, you will make mistakes. And if you make mistakes, with other words, if chicken die, you must not die with them. You must stand up, because that's part of chicken farming.
Early this morning, woke up holding my head, hearing my heartbeat all night long. Shades of this motel keeping me in bed, reading the news, just trying to stay strong. I need to just get up, take a deep breath, keep it together, 'cause it's a beautiful day. Sun on my face, feeling okay. Don't let it get away. It's a beautiful day. Feel so proud, screaming out loud. It's a beautiful day. Beautiful day. Feel so proud, screaming out loud. It's a beautiful day.
In other leading stories, although rental markets across most advanced economies are on a path of recovery due to the resumption of normal life, improved pace of COVID-19 vaccinations and job growth, these dynamics remain far-fetched in the Namibian market context. More specifically, demand fundamentals remain relatively weak in the local economy. This is evident in the FNB Residential Rental Index, which has retained an annual contraction of 2.3% at the end of September 2021 from the preceding quarter, which is still worse than the minus 1.3% seen in September of last year. Meanwhile, the national weighted average rent came in at 6,790 Namibia dollars at the end of September 2021 from 7,061 Namibia dollars a year ago. Franz Usiku, FNB Market Research Manager, says the continued deterioration of the residential rental market also appears to highlight easing competition pressure within the single-family market due to limited inventory, adding that this is particularly true for the central region. Most notably, the two-bedroom and one-bedroom segments recorded the largest rental contraction of 1.5% and 1.1% year-to-year to 6,512 Namibia dollars and 3,583 Namibia dollars respectively. A closer look at the central region shows that Windhoek is the biggest residential market, accounting for 92.0% of rental listings year to date. This nonetheless reflects a marginal decrease from 92.4% and 95.0% in 2020 and 2019 respectively, which according to Usiku explains the rising prominence of the coastal and northern regions as potential jurisdictions for holiday homes.
And welcome to the She Word, the show where we discuss trending topics amongst women across Africa. Girl, 7 years old. Do you know why you're here?
In 1997, I was filmed by an American news crew at the place I was being held. A shrine run by a priest dedicated to the worship of deities. I was labeled a Trikoshi, a wife of the gods, paying for a crime committed by a family member.
Okay, the purpose of sharing my story was to say, you know, you may have gone through something, a traumatic experience. You are still able to have life. You have life. You can live life. You can contribute to society, and that's what it should be about. It's not more. It's not really about like victimizing because I honestly don't like watching it.
Enjoy a season of savings at Pep. Kids flip-flops from only $19.99. Festive feet, beat the heat. Adults flip-flops from just $21.99. Have more holiday fun. Plus an awesome double deal. Plush towels, just $89.99 each. Buy any two, save 20. Life's better with Pep.
More than ever before, football fans demand unique insight and analysis. The Football Review is much more than a highlights show. Bold, provocative editorial that goes beyond conventional reporting, setting the agenda for football discussion. Champions League, Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga, Liga and much more. Want genuine insight with hard-hitting editorial? Need compelling premium football content? The Football Review. Best, bar none.
Joseph Chifeni is standing by for this evening's edition of Business on One.
Business on One is proudly brought to you by the Government Institutions Pension Fund.
Welcome to this evening's edition of Business on One. I'm Joseph Chifeni. Fisheries and Marine Resources Minister Derek Claassen at a recent event called upon other sectors of the economy to do their part in contributing toward development. Claassen said the fishing industry pays levies and taxes, which are in turn distributed through the national budget toward nation-building initiatives.
Fishing is one of Namibia's top industries as it contributes about 3% of the gross domestic product and 20% of export earnings. Speaking at an event where the Namibia Fish Consumption Promotion Trust made a donation of 600,000 Namibian dollars to schools in the Karas region, the Minister of Fisheries and Marine Resources said the sector contributes immensely toward economic development and that others should also do their part.
People are under the impression that's the only natural resource we have in the country. The fishing must just give. Of course, we are giving where we can, we help where we can, we donate where we can. Like what we are going to do tonight again, to show to our Namibian nation we care as a Minister of Fisheries and a Ministry of Fisheries as well as a fishing sector. But we must take in mind also, my dear colleagues, comrades, friends, leaderships, industry. The time has come that we need to involve others also. Our country is really in need for support from our private sector, our mines, our tourism, all of us. We need to assist our government.
Claassen said the initiative by the Namibia Fish Consumption and Promotion Trust illustrates the industry's commitment toward not only ensuring that locals have access to fish products, but also addressing challenges in the areas of education.
This corporate social responsibility initiative is by no means the only way that the fishing industry shares the benefits of our fisheries with the wider Namibian community. The industry pays fishing levies, they pay quota fees and taxes, which are in turn distributed through the national budget to all regions in the country to build roads, schools, hospitals, and other developments. Therefore, the National Fish Consumption Day donations are on top of the fisheries sector contributions of society, which comes with the educational components of imparting culinary skills and socio-economic benefits of consuming fish emphasizing that we care.
The governor of the Karas region applauded the entity for the generous gesture. Since its start in 2012, the NFCPT has managed to raise over $4 million.
Business on One was proudly brought to you by the Government Institutions Pension Fund.
And that is all we have for you. Be sure to follow us on our social media pages for more on the business front.
Oranjemund, established in 1936, from which point onwards CDM, now Namdeb Diamond Corporation, provided every service, the schooling, infrastructure and entertainment required for the people of the town. The winds of change is blowing over Oranjemund, which is no longer a closed town.
This ship was commandeered by King Jao III, and he actually sent a knight to Spain to go and fetch some money from investors, because they wanted to go and fetch some spices in India.
When we were kids, the mine delivered milk, bread, and black paper, black plastic bags for your rubbish, and cleaned your garden. Did the maintenance of your house. You had furniture already installed in your house.
After a hard year, we've got the Christmas you deserve with incredible savings. Like Nestle Cremora for only $33.99 and 3 kg Sunlight hand washing powder for just $52.99. Plus, every day we're giving Lucky Spa Rewards customers their shopping for free. Merry Christmas from all of us at Spa.
Hi there, parents. Do you have primary school kids and want them to get extra quality supplementary lessons to up their grades? Then simply switch to One Africa TV's #LearnOnOne, where your kids can get maths, English and science lessons every weekday from 9 to 11 a.m. with repeats from 2 to 4 p.m. And thanks to NMH's MyZone, these lessons are 100% Namibian. There's so much to learn with #LearnOnOne. Invite learning in.
Time now for Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from our social media pages. A family in Windhoek recently approached the law enforcement to complain about the practice of a religious organization that they believe led to 2 brothers now facing mental disorder. MK says Africans should stop running to any church that comes their way. Sitaketa and France say people must be careful. Zelna says the local branch should be closed if they cannot provide answers. While Neka says the youth likes disappointing their parents. That is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast only on Today on One.
Stay true to who you are and stay true to Namibia Sounds. Starting September 4th at 7 p.m., Valentine's and 99 FM bring you the True Music Sessions, a back-to-back playlist of our nation's finest artists brought to you by the finest blended Scotch whiskey, Valentine's. Stay true. There's no wrong way.
Namibia will conduct the 4th Population and Housing Census in August 2022. To find out more, tune into the television broadcast of Conversations with the NSA on Tuesday, the 7th of December at 8 p.m. and the repeat broadcast on Sunday, the 12th of December at 7 p.m. The Population and Housing Census 2021. Play your part. Be counted.
And on the sports front, the Namibian team of 6 karatekas and 2 delegates departed for Cairo, Egypt early this week to participate in the African Karate Championships that kicked off today. Aktofel Nambahu has more on this story.
The president of the Namibia Karate Union, Marshall De Jager, expressed her excitement for Namibia's participation in the competition. She further highlighted the challenges they face and the way forward.
Yeah, we are very excited. I know the past 2 years were COVID and COVID and COVID, so everybody was down. So we see this opportunity as a breakthrough opportunity to again do the sport that we all love and to participate on that level, especially because it's in the northern parts. Those lands are those countries are some of the most difficult opponents we have. If you look at the current ratings, Morocco, Egypt, Algeria, Tunisia, all those places, Northern Africa, they are strong competitions. But we've got stronger athletes. So we have been preparing for the past year, training camps, Zoom sessions, everything that we could do. And I believe our athletes are top form. They will definitely go, they will give their best, and they will make us proud. Just to be sitting here, they've already made us proud.
The team of 6 karatekas is made up of both senior and junior athletes. With the amount of experience they have in their team, they are very confident in excelling at the championships.
I'll be participating in the over 59 kilograms in Kumite and the female kata division as well. I participated in the same competition last year, but I feel more prepared this time.
I'll be taking part in the senior under 75 Kumite division. This will be my second senior division. The first time wasn't really good, but I can say I'm quite prepared now to show what Namibia actually has.
The athletes were honored with being the first to be dressed in the new Namibian national colors.
This is the first team that have received the national colors with the new attire. It's delivered only today. There will be some fine-tuning and for us to do a little bit of improvement on what we see here today. They look a little bit bigger, but we are also in discussion with our supplier, that is ExcoSport, to make sure that at least we lived up to expectation in terms of improvements on the colors. So the colors will then be, for the federation to get it, they have to approach the sports commission, they apply for the national colors, then we will submit the names to ExcoSport, who will then produce according to the numbers that is given at that time. So these colors will not be worn by any other person, you will have to earn it, and hence it is by only when you earn it that you get it. And hence there will be control also from our side. It includes the blazers that we've launched already 2 months ago. So it's blazers, track suits, the battle gear, which is the gear that they use on the field of play. That is for the federation to make sure that it's done from their end. So it's dominant blue and then the red.
Jager further stated how grateful she is about the support they are receiving from the Namibian Sports Commission and sponsors, allowing them the opportunity to travel and showcase their talent around the world.
Thanks a lot, Aktoffel, for the latest in sports. Time now for the weather forecast.
Time now for the weather forecast, but first an advisory from the Windhoek Met office. Heavy storms are most likely in the north and southeast. Strong winds are expected in the south, west and central parts of the country, so please take the necessary precautions. The interior will be partly cloudy and warm in the southwest, elsewhere partly cloudy and mild to hot with isolated thunder showers but scattered in the central north, northeast and eastern parts. The coast will be partly cloudy and mild to warm with showers in the south, and wind will be moderate southwesterly but fresh to strong southerly in the south.
That is all we have for you. You can join us again for a repeat at 9:30 and the Omnibus Saturdays from 9 to 2. From me, Maggie Forciero, and the rest of the team, till next time, it's good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Be anything, he should be everything. Strength provider, the architect of every ring. Experience penny yellow, see the face of God and live.
I pray to God for my enemy. Why your lady, why your baby, wanna baby? Insta baby, Insta baby, Insta baby. Why you lying? What your mama gave ya. Everybody move, what your mama gave ya. Everybody shake, what your mama gave ya. Everybody move, yeah, lost, fuck.
You are now watching the V10 Countdown.
Black sunrise, always gonna be a surprise, 'cause we don't know the way it's going to go, 'cause we can see the way it's going to be, 'cause we can see.
We're talking about COVID. So, Raji, tell us about the day you found out you had COVID.
The day I found out I have COVID, it was a difficult day. I didn't understand how I got COVID, because I was always covered, I was always with my hand sanitizer. It came with my wife. And that whole day, I was thinking, what's gonna happen to me? I'm gonna survive. My kids, I was losing my tasting, smelling. There were some days I will test my taste buds and put like 4 or 5 chilies in my coffee. No ways. I didn't taste it.
So did you also lose your appetite in the process?
It was very funny. In the first week, no, I was chowing. Like I will wake up like midnight and make for me something. But after the first week, then the appetite was gone. When you go to bed, your body is also automatically switching off. And that's a dangerous time for COVID. It's like glass pinching you, cutting you inside your lungs. Then the heart was pumping like rabbit pumps. You are losing a lot of fluids at night.
Is that through fever or what?
Yeah, it's through fever.
So have you experienced any side effects from having contracted COVID-19?
No, not yet. Maybe still coming, but not yet.
And your wife?
She was complaining about light head. It's an annoying headache. It's light, but it's annoying.
So basically you didn't take any prescribed medicine from the doctor to recover from COVID?
No, I didn't. The only thing I was using is Desperin for my blood not to clot. Because for some people, when your lungs are really, really infected, your blood will start to clot from the lungs, close all the airways. That's where we are passing. I'm smoking cigarette, and when you were a smoker, and COVID in your lungs now.
So then after you found out, you both found out you had COVID, what did you guys do to protect the kids?
The kids move out from the house. The Buddhists will come, then we'll collect everything for them and just put for them outside. When they came, just grab the food and go.
So what was the biggest battle for you? Was it mental or physical?
Mentally. Mentally was the biggest battle. I'm actually an international movie maker, and my career was cut off. I couldn't put bread on the table. There were some days we have one meal for the day, then went to bed. And that was hitting me in my mind. What if Blessing gets corona now? Where am I gonna go? Who's gonna help? There were also some people depend on us in the rural areas. We couldn't help them. My future was black, dark, dark, dark. I couldn't even see that small light at the end of the tunnel. One day, my daughter decided, now I want to see my father today. And I just told her, yeah, she can come. The first words was, Daddy, I was praying for you yesterday night. Don't worry, Corona will go back soon. And I was asking, from where? From Namibia? I said, no, not from Namibia, from you. And you are not looking good. And she was actually heartbroken. Until today, she hates Corona. From there, then I was like, oh, okay. If the smallest one is saying this, why am I not picking me up self and do the right thing and get rid of this thing? That's where I started to run, to practice, coming to my quiet place. And actually, the main thing that broke my heart during that time was there was no one. The time of COVID, there was no one.
So can you tell us where we are right now?
We are at my silent place. I call this place my silent place. I will come here when the COVID is hitting me like 120%. Looking at the ocean, then you will hear voices like, no, you don't belong here. Today, you don't belong here. Get up and go home. Some days, they will nurse you like, no, you will survive. Your future is a bright future. You must not give up now. Think about your kids. Think about the people around you. Even the wind will do that. Actually, you must meditate. The thing of COVID is, looks like COVID is afraid of the warmness and is friends with the coldness. So the whole time you are baking in the sun, it helps a lot.
So is that what you did?
Yeah, I did. I will do that twice a day. This was supposed to be a golden year for me, a very, very good golden year for me, but then COVID decided, no, this is not going to be your golden year. Everything was cancelled. We, the filmmakers, this year, from the international shoots, lost lot of money.
You've lost 3 family members? Is it all due to COVID?
No, not all due to COVID. First one, my sister, she was very close to me. She contracted COVID April, and she was in ICU for 3 months. The COVID damaged her lungs, and at that stage her lungs collapsed and she couldn't breathe without the machines. Her kidneys failed, her liver has failed. COVID is real. First of all, COVID is real. It's not a joke. Most of the people, they fall away from COVID regulations. Still early to fall away from COVID regulations. We must still go in line with those COVID regulations.
And how long did you say it took you to recover?
3 weeks, 21 days.
What must somebody do to change your mind from that negative perspective to that positive?
COVID, no job, it's very dangerous. There was one day I just decided I'm gonna take a rope, go to the jetty, sit around there, and after all I will hang there by the jetty. The time I arrived here there was no wind, out of nowhere. The ocean was like angry, and it started to get cold, and I was like, but it was just nice weather. Then I sat down. Then the universe will talk with you, the wind, the sun, the ocean. That's the main thing of COVID. If you don't save yourself, no one will save you. And we must always appreciate what we have around us. That's the main thing in COVID. If you don't appreciate what you have around you, no, you lose your head.
Smile, smile, smile. When you walk with me, I just want to smile, smile.
My industry and what I've done with my hands in Namibia, it's going all over the world, and here you are, Babaji, you want to quit now. I'm excited for 2021. It's not gonna be the same like 2020 now. I'm back in the groove.
Give me food, clothes, water, and shelter. Nothing else, no matter. You're my moonlight in my oven. Let all my sins be forgiven. Happiness rain on me. Never let the children cry. Namibia, smile.
India's Ranthambore Reserve in Rajasthan is home to the rare Bengal tigers. Every year, John Isaac, an Indian-born photographer, travels from New York City to document the lives of these majestic animals.
In the last 10 years, I think my interest has grown tenfold, and I'm very particular about the survival of the tigers.
His goal is to make sure that people everywhere know about the grave danger Bengal tigers face: extinction. John holds seminars and photographic exhibitions from his visits to Ranthambore to raise awareness of the plight of these tigers. He's currently working on a book to document their dilemma due to an increasing human population encroaching on their territory. According to John and wildlife experts, each tiger needs as much as 9 square kilometers to survive, just under 4 square miles. The relationship between tigers and people has always been difficult, but now, with much less territory to roam, tigers often wander into human settlements.
The conflict between the villagers and the tigers has always been there, and then government tries to compensate. If a tiger kills a goat or a cow, they pay a certain amount to the villagers.
In the past, tigers used migration corridors or routes followed by wildlife for travel between summer and winter habitats. Now these pathways have been taken over by people who use them as living quarters and to reap firewood.
We are trying to work with the communities living around and trying to reduce their forest dependency so that we can conserve this corridor patch for the smooth and easy movement of tigers.
Jamuna Devi, a farmer, lives near one of the migratory corridors. She used to depend on the forest for grazing pastures. Now, thanks to a World Wildlife Fund initiative, Jamuna no longer needs to rely on the forest for her family's survival. The secret? Introducing new alternative crops closer to her home.
और ये तो अभी यही गई साल बोया है, ये आया होया कांदा है हम 25 रोज को तो तारीख को तो बोया ही है और रोज में अंतर तो आगा भूलने लगा.
The success of this project has led to even more changes. Jamuna decided to plant fodder for her cattle on her excess land to further preserve the habitat of the tigers. She has also switched to cooking gas so that she doesn't have to collect forest wood for fuel.
जंगल में सब दुनिया ने जब छोड़ दिया तो सब बे होगी, कोई काम नहीं करा, लकड़ी को भी नहीं करा, जंगल में जाने से भी परेशान है दुनिया. गैस भेज दिया सबन के घर घर में, वे सभी सिलेंडर पकड़ते और रुपया को कोई समझते ही नहीं है, अब भीतर भरा लावा.
Climate change also has a direct impact on the habitat of tigers.
The last 2 or 3 years, they say, there's been a drought. The rains have not been regular.
Climate change is a serious problem in this country, even it's in the continent. So keeping these forest areas alive and protected is the only solution. This year we have raised a nursery of 10,000 saplings. Forest department have shown their interest. They bought around 2,000-3,000 saplings.
The idea is to plant new trees to replace those lost to severe weather conditions and human activity. Poaching used to be a major threat to Bengal tigers. But thankfully, the number of big cats killed by poachers has plummeted due to measures implemented